Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, September 11th, 2022, and as I round the bend into Jim Thorpe, you can see it's a horribly nasty day. So, of course, I'm coming here to ride a train, right? What else would you do on a day like today? Well, I'll tell you why I'm doing it today. You've ridden with me many, many times on the regular Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway train, and that's a really nice ride. It goes about 8 to 9 miles into Lehigh Gorge and back. But the thing is, you guys have only seen such a tiny part of Lehigh Gorge, and it's such a beautiful place, even on days like today. And I want to show you the rest of Lehigh Gorge. Now, the reason I'm doing it today, Reading and Northern is running their monthly bike train. They run that one weekend a month, and most months there's 2 trains a day. The people who had tickets for yesterday got really lucky and had a really nice day for a ride. And the people who had tickets for today are probably staying home and exchanging those tickets for another day, which means it's one of those really rare days that I could just walk up to the ticket booth and buy a ticket to ride the train. Now, you're saying, why would you want to do the bike train? And I'm about to get distracted by bud cars, guys. I forgot these were coming today. There's 9168 and 9166, our old friends. Alright, so obviously I'm not biking. I did do the bike ride back in 2015, and I really do hope to get fit enough to do it again someday. But what a lot of people don't know is you don't have to take your bike, and you don't have to get off at Whitehaven. And you can actually just ride the train round trip. It's $29 for adults. It's probably less for kids, and I never think to look at that price because I don't have kids, but it's probably less if you wanted to do that. And you can just ride the train round trip. Now, usually the bike trains sell out, which is why I don't just come up here on a nice day and do it, because odds are I'd drive up here, find out there's no tickets, and I just haven't had the foresight to buy one ahead of time because I've had other things going on. I actually did have other plans today. I was going to go to a model car show, but the friend I was going with, he canceled, and I decided to do this instead. But anyway, and there are some people here with bikes, but I think most aren't going to come. So odds are today I can walk up to the ticket booth, get a ticket, get on the train and ride. It'll be 25 miles up to Whitehaven, 25 miles back. We'll be passing through the Rockport Tunnel, which is something I've never filmed for you before. And because you've done the first 8 to 9 miles of this trip with me many times, I'm just going to fast forward through that part. You've seen it. I've got plenty of videos you can watch it. I'll give you a super quick highlight reel of the ride up to Old Penn Haven, and then I'll film as much as I can of the rest of the trip, because that's the part of the gorge you really don't get a chance to see very often, and it is really nice. So get your raincoats, get your tickets, and all aboard the Lehigh Gorge Bike Train. Alright, so you guys can see there are quite a few bikers braving this ride today. I'll tell you what, I love riding in Lehigh Gorge, but I'm glad I'm not riding today. So we are in the front car, car number 309. It's actually been a really long time since I rode one of the regular coaches on this railroad. Just giving you a look at the car. Actually, I think November 2019 was probably the last time. I usually do the dome car or the open air cars, as you know. Coaches are the only choice on this one. But that's alright, it's raining. guys. I'm hoping we actually get back in time to watch the Bud cars depart today. That'd be fun to film them. There we go. You know, 2013 is my favorite because I got to ride in the cab. Alright, and I'm going to fast forward our journey up to Penn Haven. I'll just give you a few select clips because you've done this ride with me many times. I'm more interested in showing you the new stuff along the way after that. Alright, so you guys will recognize the infamous little waterfall. And you know what that means? On a normal Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway ride, that would mean we're coming to the turnaround point. But because we're on the bike train, we're only about a third of the way through our ride up to Whitehaven. This is the track that they normally do the runaround for the engine. And so we are now headed towards the abandoned town of Penn Haven Junction. And at that point, the bike trail will stay on the west bank of the river, which is where we are now, and the train will cross the bridge to the east bank. And then we're into uncharted territory where I haven't filmed for you before. The former town of Penn Haven Junction, it's a little bit up the rails from where we do the turnaround, and we're rounding that curve now. I did catch a freight train through this stretch one time. That was a pretty nice surprise when I was out biking.
Penn Haven Junction is one of the most pedestrian spots along the rail. Located about 7 miles north of Jim Thorpe and 5 miles east of Weatherly, the wide area that we are passing through was once an important location on the canal system and later the railroad. At one time, this junction was the intersection for the canal and light rail lines, including the Beaver Meadow and Hazelton White Lane. At one time, this junction was the intersection for the canal and 5 rail lines. The small railroad community thrived in this area was only accessible by boat or rail.
So what you're looking at here now, the bike trail just crossed over the railroad tracks, and that rail splitting off to the west there, going around the curve, that's the Norfolk Southern Rail to Weatherly. That's the D&L trail, and we are now crossing the Lehigh River.
just a minute. We're chatting a minute to keep the audience up.
Good thinking.
Thought I saw something flying over there. Like,
Oh, neat. So Bill was just saying he thought he saw an eagle flying up there. I've seen him before on the bike. This is a stretch of the river I normally don't get a chance to have a look at because if I'm biking on the trail on the other side, there's kind of a thick row of trees between the trail and the river at this point. But this is a popular section from what I understand with the rafters and kayakers. You can see it's a little more challenging with the rapids and the rocks. And I think the river's running a little bit low right now. We haven't had a lot of rain this summer. We're actually in a dry spell, not quite officially in a drought, but getting there. So believe it or not, the rain today is very welcome. And like I said, it freed up a seat on this train for me, so I can't complain. So here we're going around another one of those really tight bends in the gorge. You probably see the diesel up front. Okay, thank you.
It's so funny how I have mental problems. It was like one time waiting for the bus on the street. But they're meant yeah, this week I started coaching. Sidewalk, parking lot, but I was I borrowed someone's space for the board.
So we're going to be coming up on one of the more interesting parts of this ride. We're going to be going through the Rockport Tunnel, which is a tunnel that actually curves through the mountain. It's pretty unique. I've only ridden through it one time before. That was back when I did the bike train in 2015. Didn't know it was coming on that trip, but this time I'm ready and we're going to film our trip through it.
A little bit, yeah.
I got all day.
Yeah, we have you back.
Oh, the deer just jumped in front. Yeah, I saw that. Another one.
Yeah.
There's usually more than one. There you go.
I was thinking that, yeah, it looks like a bad now.
Got another tight bend around the river and the tracks. You can see this part of the river's really got some good rapids, lots of boulders. You'd have to really know what you're doing to navigate this part of the river. I'll stick to riding the trains. A little more skilled at that. I would like to try the kayaking someday though, from Jim Thorpe down to Bowmanstown. That part looks a little more beginner friendly. So we're somewhere between Rockport and Tannery. And normally they would drop off the bikes in Whitehaven, but the portion of the D&L trail between Tannery and Whitehaven is currently undergoing some pretty major construction. It was supposed to have been done this spring. It's gone a little bit past due. I don't know what the time frame for finishing it is now, but I've been told they're dropping the bikes off at Tannery, which is the next trailhead south of Whitehaven, which is pretty close. They're, I think, within maybe 2 miles of each other, something like that. This part of Lehigh Gorge is very desolate. There's really only a few access points if you want a bike. You can use the trailhead at Whitehaven, Tannery. If you miss those, you got to come down to Rockport, and then the next one beyond that is the Glen and Oco parking lot, which we're at all the time. That's by the rock cut. So there's it's a very desolate but very beautiful place. It's somewhere I enjoy biking. But you got to plan your trip pretty carefully because there's not a lot of places to get on and off. This is a neat part of the ride. We're rising higher and higher above the river on the tracks now. You can see we just went through a rocky area. I always like the rocks. See the old telegraph poles with all the insulators. I've still got to find myself an insulator someday that fell from one of the poles.
We passed the siding at Hickory Run Creek. Officials of the Reading and Northern Railroad often park the executive train here on frequent tours of the system.
Well, that's an interesting tip we just overheard. Let's off to this side here. Oh, I just missed it. We're milepost 138. Forget the milepost for Penn Haven Junction. I think that's between 126 and 127. So we've come a little more than 10 miles past our usual point. We got a couple more miles to go to our destination. And I can see all the bike people on the train starting to get packed up and ready. It's not raining as hard up here, but man, I just would not want to be biking on the trail today. I give a lot of credit to anybody brave enough to do it. There's another rock cut. I don't know if the camera caught that, guys. I just saw something really cool up ahead on the river. There's a couple really tall pillars from what I guess used to be a bridge. I don't know if it was a railroad bridge or an automobile bridge, but I like finding abandoned stuff like that. I'll have to see if I can find out more about it. And there's one of the piers for it. That's where it would have come out on this side. So this is a really rare chance, guys, to ride.
The train horn blows for Tannery Road and marks our entrance into the small village of Tannery. The siding of the right of the train is often used by the Reading and Northern to store maintenance of away equipment. The bark of the white pine and hemlock trees was used to tan hides and making leather. The second largest tannery in the United States stood here on the banks of the Lehigh River. In 1860 it was expanded. It was the largest tannery in the country. It was destroyed by a forest fire in 1875 and never rebuilt. Now once the train comes to a complete stop, your car attendants will let you know when it's safe to exit the train. Any round-trip riders at this time, please stay aboard the train. Once again, any round-trip riders, please stay aboard the train at this time. For any passengers who will be getting off to get their bicycles, once you get off the train, proceed north to where the open-air car is, and you will receive your bicycle.
Alright, so here's that siding they were talking about that's often used for the maintenance of way equipment. Not sure if we'll see anything on it today, but hanging out by this side just in case. would be the first road crossing we've seen basically since we left Jim Thorpe. And the last time we could have seen any cars would have been through the Glenanoco parking lot. So if you recall when Nick and I chased 425 a couple of months ago, we caught it up in Whitehaven, we caught it in Glenanoco, and we didn't catch it anywhere in between. And this crossing we just went through in Tannery would have been the only other opportunity that we could have done so. That's how inaccessible this route is. The only way to see it by train, guys, it's to ride this bike train or to catch that annual trip behind 425 from Mountaintop down to Jim Thorpe. So tell us where we're at.
Here we are again. We're up at Tannery now in the bike train. My good friend Jamie. Hope you've had an enjoyable ride up. Got to get the people off. You guys take care.
We'll see you, Bill. Alright guys, Bill's got to go to work and I get to take my little break here because I'm riding back unless they kick me off. We're now at the back of the train and the engineer would be at the locomotive at the front of the train. You can see we almost have the car to ourselves. Not quite, but close. Really sharp bends. Now we're going the other way. I'm not sure if you can see the passenger cars. Well, you can't now the way I'm pointing this, but bet you this has got to be a really beautiful trip in November, which is the last bike train of the year. You'll have most of the leaves gone from the trees and probably some stunning views of the river. To see if I could get a ticket for that one. Might be hard though. That one's they only run once a day in November at 9:30 in the morning, and I would guess that would be a popular time of the year for people to bike. I mean, I can't speak for others, but I'd rather bike when it's cold outside than when it's hot. So that's interesting, guys. We just passed through the Rockport Tunnel on the return trip. It seems to be raining more on this side of the tunnel than it was on the other side. And that's something interesting I've noticed from my bike trips through Lehigh Gorge before. Sometimes every bend in this river you find different weather on the other side of it. See, we're actually going over the bridge. Maybe they're just giving us a better view. This is the bridge that crosses the Lehigh River at Penn Haven Junction. And up on the other bank above that stone wall, that's the bike trail, the D&L trail. Here's the bridge. That's actually a pretty neat view at it. I didn't realize that was like a man-made stone wall that rode atop. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they're just giving us a better look. That's cool. Always appreciate that. Quick peek down that way, and here's where it rejoins the trail. Up ahead is Penn Haven Junction. Believe it or not, there used to be a town there. Guys, so now you should know where we're at. This is the usual turnaround point for the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. This is the runaround track for the engine. And I'm going to assume you guys have seen enough of my videos now to know your way back to town. If not, just follow the trail. I'm going to leave it off here, guys. You've seen the rest of the journey a million times before. And I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the tracks.